Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Friday, September 15th. And we're almost done. We are about wrapped up. The second to last live episode of Big Brother was last night. There's only 2 episodes left. There's an episode tonight. And an episode on Wednesday. We got a 2-hour episode on Wednesday. Tonight's episode will show mostly clips and probably the beginning of part 1 of the Head of Household competition, because that's how they're doing it now, where they don't even show you the whole first part of the Head of Household competition. We do know who won, but let's take a brief step back for anybody that might have missed last night's show. They showed what we expected. They showed Paul winning the power veto, and then not using the power veto live, Kevin getting evicted, Julie talking to Kevin. They did not show part 1 of the Head of Household competition because they didn't start it until late last night. They did show a jury segment, which I found entertaining. They managed to even show Alex arriving, which must have happened on Wednesday. So they got that done. They compressed about 3 weeks of jury into a 5-minute segment or so. Maybe it was 2 segments, wasn't it? Which was the best part of last night's show, in my opinion. People say Cody's still a lump, or he got up and walked away from a conversation. It's like, well, that's Cody, and you know what? I'm like, what do you expect the guy to do? Everybody in the house that's in there treated him like crap at one point or another, or almost everybody. And you didn't want to listen to Matt's stuff. Matt's talking. Who could listen to Matt say anything about anything and respect it at this point? So he just got up and walked away. And remember, it's edited. We don't know the whole conversation that was going on. I mean, we basically saw something that happened, 2 weeks ago, I think? In a 30-second clip, and we're supposed to interpret all the conversations that have happened? No. Hard to do. But nevertheless, Cody... and remember, Cody was relaxed and fun. When Jessica was out of the house, Cody wasn't too bad for a lot of it, but he still is Cody. He's still himself, and so yeah. So we saw that Kevin's out. Kevin will make it to jury, but just barely. He may show up there later today, and obviously that won't be on. We won't see it on today's show, and it won't be on. I don't even know if they'll show him arriving on the finale. They may just bring him out with the rest of the house onto the stage, and then they sit down. And it's pretty apparent from Kevin's comments. And they did show his interview, or his reading his own interview questions afterwards. For a brief moment, we thought the feeds were coming back, and it was just for Kevin's little thing. Yeah, he seemed to be fine. He seemed to be more than willing to vote for Paul, which is what people are starting to wonder, who's going to vote for who. And I have no idea. But what we do know is the feeds were down for like a total of 9 hours before the live feeds, or before the TV show, until after the part 1 of the Head of Household competition, which again this year was blocked on the feed. So it seems to be that's the new standard. There's one thing we don't see anymore is part 1 of the Head of Household. That used to be the ultimate, that was the ultimate cliffhanger. My guess is they decided we don't get many new people signing up for the live feeds, and anyone that is signed up is already committed, so why do we have to give them another bone, or a bone, even though they had done it for every season until last year. I'm mad now. I'm frustrated again. I think they probably decided they can make it more entertaining to television if they don't have to cater to the live feed viewers, because that stupid cat running around and jumping in bowls of milk and chasing a laser last year would have been harder to do production-wise than a regular just stand in one place endurance competition. I actually watched part of that part one last night, and I was like, oh my god, this was so stupid. It was such a stupid competition, which finished up with I think a wall hang anyways. They just did some other stupid stuff before they let into it. I mean, it really is, who are you designing the show for at this point? How young are you skewing your show? And I think they're skewing it really young. Okay, so the feeds came back at sometime in the middle of the night. I was sound asleep, and we discovered Paul won part one. It was actually an endurance competition. Sounds like Christmas was given specific instructions by doctors on if she dropped out of it, if she was going to physically, literally drop, that she should drop in a certain way so as not to hurt her foot. So, yeah. I mean, I guess she participated, and actually Josh was out first and Christmas took second. So Paul has won part one, and now Josh and Christmas will face off in part two. Last year, part two was the car that rolled down a ramp and you had to run through turnstile, through back and forth like an amusement park line. I mean, you had to run a lot. There is no way in hell Christmas would be able to win that competition this year. So, unsure if they'll have anything like that this time around. We'll have to see. Competition will be on Saturday probably. Don't remember if it'll be done by the time I would guess we won't know when we're doing our podcast. Because last year they did it at night, I'm pretty sure, and they'll probably do it at night again today or tomorrow. So we probably won't know, but we'll be able to speculate what if. But actually, it'll give us a little bit more to talk about, because we'll be able to talk about a scenario that won't happen. Let's say Christmas wins it, or what if Paul wins it, or not Paul, Josh wins it. We'll be able to talk both sides. It'll give us something to talk about, and we won't have a whole lot to talk about on Saturday. So those of you that are praying for a long Saturday show, it'll be a good thing if the competition is not over when we do it. And it will be our last show for the season. So, yeah, we don't do a follow-up podcast after the show ends. We just don't do that. We haven't ever done that. Or maybe we've done it once or twice. I do believe, and I may have said this yesterday, I think we may have done one last year after Big Brother Over the Top. But again, those were extenuating circumstances, in that not everybody watched Big Brother Over the Top, since you had to be a live feed subscriber to watch it. All right, that's what I know, guys. Yeah, we're set for the day. House guests are sleeping. Oh, I did comment this morning. Find it interesting that CBS is deciding not to explore Christmas's fascination with Paul. That would be intriguing. Why don't you show that a little? Why don't you show the fact that Christmas and Paul are in bed again this morning? And yes, they've slept in the same bed together all season long. But there's lots of beds now. They're still snuggling up every night in bed. Why isn't CBS exploring that angle? I'm curious. No one cares anymore. They're not going to get, showing it tonight won't happen because it'll be a major clip show. And discussing it on Wednesday won't matter because there won't be another episode to tune into. So, they may decide, we won't throw Paul's romantic life under the bus. Because in theory, he does have a girl. He kept calling someone a girl outside the house. I'm sure she's well aware if he does have a serious female that he's involved with outside the house. I'm 100% sure she's aware of Christmas hanging on Paul a lot. So it's not like she's not going to know about it. But whatever. anti-Paul lately. It's bad, guys. I'm sorry. Those of you that are Paul fans, look, he's going to win. So just remember that. He's, unless Josh wins part 2 and beats Paul in part 3. See, now Paul is a lock for part 3. And Paul has done very well in the quizzes. What, was he a clean sweep last time? So, yeah, I think Paul's going to wrap this puppy up. He's won everything, right? He won Saturday's Power Veto. He won, he won, the head of household. He won the Power Veto. He won the head of household 2 weeks ago. Or Thursday before yesterday. He won the Power Veto competition. He won part 1 of the head of household competition. He's pretty much winning everything on the way out the door. Some of the things he won earlier in the year, he asked, he kind of got people to let him win. He gave away some things. I mean, he has completely dominated this season. I'm not denying that with anybody. I just feel like playing college basketball with a bunch of middle schoolers is not, something to hang your hat on as a huge accomplishment. So that's my thought on that. Not saying anything new here. What else? Well, anyways, just start weeding yourself off of Big Brother if you haven't yet. This weekend you should spend as little time as possible paying attention to Big Brother, except for maybe listening to our podcast. That's what I plan on doing. I will be, once our podcast is over, I will do my best to keep everybody updated, of course. But there won't be much to update. Game-wise, look, Paul has said to the live feeders, I want to take Josh to the final 2. I don't know what Christmas's intentions are. She hasn't expressed them that I'm aware of. If she talks about being a soul eater and all these kind of, dark themes. If she truly is, she may decide that she thinks Josh has a better shot against Josh. She may actually act on that. I don't know. And Josh has claimed many times that he knows he can't beat Paul. So, if he manages to beat Paul, if he makes it to the final 2 and manages to beat Paul, will he? I mean, if he manages to make it to the final, the head of household, if he manages to win the last head of household by beating Paul in part 3, which he hasn't even qualified for yet, will he actually not take Paul to the final 3? Paul is a lock to win unless he isn't in the final 2. That's the sum of that. Christmas versus Josh, I don't know. I think, it'll be a matter of which camp are you in. Are you in the, oh my gosh, look at the girl who's had a broken foot all season and has managed to make it to the final 2? Is it Josh saying, he's played a game, but Christmas would say that, well, we coached him the whole time? I don't know. I don't know who would win between Christmas and Josh. I'm not very sure. I certainly find it a more interesting final 2 than Paul versus either of the other 2, because that's just a given. You're just going to know. But we won't know any of that till Wednesday night, because that won't be determined until Wednesday night. But the second Paul wins, part 3, because that's what's going to happen, everyone will just go, yeah, game over. There's no way in the world that jury is voting for anybody over Paul. It's just not happening. They just will never live it down. They will know that we can't vote for anybody but Paul, because we'd be lying to say that either of the other 2 played a better game. And we'd have to face the public, even though there's all kinds of things that this cast is going to have to face the public about. They're going to walk out after the show, and some of the other cast members can look at us. Yeah, no, not good. No. They don't. America thinks you guys are all just sheep, and yeah, they're just laughing at you guys. I don't know if they'll tell them that. I would anticipate Jessica's going to run up to Cody and go, you need to do some damage control, Cody. You've kind of said some things that have ticked off a good chunk of America. And Cody may say, I don't care. I don't care. He may. I don't know. But for my world, as soon as that America's favorite player is announced and the confetti's popped and I'm done. I'm on to the next season. All right, I am at work. We'll talk to you guys, I don't know when. On this thing, maybe not till Monday. We'll have to see. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.